Hey everybody, welcome to my overview and a quick turn or two of Stardust Coffee. This is a really interesting pick up and deliver resource management game. So let's take a look at the board and the player sheets. What I've got here is this is set up. You'll see that these are modular. And so what you need to do is set up the game the first time the way the rules recommend, just to make sure it's balanced, because you've got city globes. These are places where you can essentially gather resources that you might not have access to, and they also activate lower numbered dice. Then you've got these tiles here, and they have milk, coffee, and water, and you'll see that they are spaced out evenly around this square central board. So that's your central area where you're going to move around your spaceships, going counterclockwise. I've got a red player here. That's what I'm playing, and Lewis is playing the yellow player. So to take a turn or two, I'm just going to show us kind of moving around and activating all this stuff. Up here, you've got the possible coffees that you can nab once you have made your first coffee. So these are the copies that were given to the red player and to the yellow player. And you will just essentially select one of those basic copper, easier coffees to make. Notice that it takes fewer ingredients of coffee and water and milk. Those are going to be your basic resources over here. And that's it. Here's the cool thing. Your turns are driven by dice. So what a player is going to do at the very beginning is the round start. You are going to grab these dice and you're going to do power up. Essentially, you just roll them. You place them in the available space and you put this gold die, this yellow die, on the matching space around the perimeter of the map. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. That's going to represent your Stardust. And Stardust is a really cool special component in the game that allows you to really amp up your coffees, but also give upgrades on your player board. These are your player boards, and you're going to keep all your ingredients here, and you're going to keep your upgrades at the top half. So that's the power up. That's what the start of every round is going to look like. Right now, I've got the start player here on the red player. So I am just going to run through what I actually do on my turn. You take a turn, and then it just goes clockwise, and everyone's going to take a turn until you don't have any more spaceships to activate. And at the very beginning of the game, players only have 2 spaceships. That's here. Everybody can earn their 3rd spaceship by completing their coffee card and getting that 3rd spaceship for the rest of the game. So once you have done that and delivered your coffee, now you have 3 spaceships to go out and do cool stuff with. So I'm going to take my turn, and a turn is simply activating a spaceship, selecting a die from the active pool, and then doing any number of things, as many things as you can actually do. There are 7 options, but some of the options just aren't going to be available to you. So you might actually just do a couple things on your turn, and that's okay. So I'm going to pick one of my spaceships. Let's say I pick this one, and I am going to select one of these dice. Now I could pick the 5 pink because that matches the color, and you don't have to, but it actually is a really, really good opportunity for me. This blue 5 is going to maybe allow me to activate the water, and that brown die is going to match the coffee tile. Now, you don't get too hung up on matching the pips and matching the colors. You can always do something with your dice. It's just that sometimes when you get the right combination, you can do a lot of things. Because you can, on your turn, sail, which is moving 1 to 3 spaces. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to sail my ship, and I'm going to go 1 space because I really want to go to that pink tile right here. Now, one of the other things you can do is a color action. Now, what a color action says is that you are going to either jump, which allows you to move further. So 1 to 3 spaces is not enough for you. That means you can actually jump to the next colored space matching that particular color. Or you can move to the nearest globe and then to the nearest color. So it really allows you to get pretty far. Now, I don't want to do that for my color action. I'm going to take this die, and I'm going to say I want to do the other color action, which is harvest. I will harvest on all of the spaces that match the color dye. I don't have to be on pink to do this, but it is nice because I will be able to collect. So what I did was I put a milk down on all of the pink spaces, and now I'm going to collect everything that's in the space where I am. So if there were previously placed objects here, either stardust or milk, I can collect those. You can have up to 3 items on each of these that are the basic ingredients. So 3 milk, 3 coffee, or 3 water. So I'm going to harvest and I'm going to take this milk and I'm going to put it right there in my basic inventory. I have 8 spaces for any of these 3 ingredients combined. I can have any number of those. I just can only keep 8 of them. Over here you have your advanced. These are your upgrade ingredients. These are special, and there are 2 different kinds of each of the basic ingredients. So there's the chocolates, but then there's the dark roast coffee. There's this dollop of whipped cream, or there's the kind of swirly whipped cream. Over here is the whiskey, and over here is the ice. And so you're going to take these basic ingredients and you're going to hope to get upgrades. Now that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Because my number matches the number here, I am going to be able to take the upgraded pictured item. That's what I get. So I'm going to take another milk, but I'm going to put it in the whipped cream, kind of swirly whipped cream spot, right? Now here's another cool thing. If you look at my coffee, my conpanna, or my conpanna, I'm really good with Italian, you'll see my basic ingredients require a coffee bean and a coffee bean. Those are just the normal ones, and a milk. But it also requires one of those swirly whipped creams. So I am halfway to getting this card, this coffee completed. I just need to get some basic coffee beans. And by the time my ship goes around here and it comes back to my home base, my star base, I'm allowed to deliver this coffee once I've put those ingredients on there. So that's the goal, is to get the ingredients at the end of a round to then put your ingredients on here. And during the game, during your actual turn, you want to activate by delivering. So I did the color, I did the number matching. I could also choose to upgrade if I had a Stardust, and upgrades are here. You take a look at the picture of the item, and that's the item that you have to pay. These are all upgraded items. So if I didn't want to use my little whipped cream swirl, I could come here and I could put a Stardust that I've collected, and I could discard that, and now I would get this bonus upgrade that I could do as a number action instead of using the number action for something else. It gives you flexibility, and it gives you a special, unique ability throughout the game that other people may not have activated. So that's really good, but it takes a little bit of time. It takes Stardust and it takes upgraded advanced ingredients. A couple other things I could do on my turn is attack a pirate. In the very first round, the pirates don't appear. They're not here yet. These are the pirate ships. They will come on the board one at a time based on how many players you have. So in the very first round, we should have flipped this over and everybody should have gotten their ingredients. This is a special cool bonus that happens at the start of every one of these rounds, as you see here. But once this moves, Pirate A is going to show up, and they're going to show up in the A section right here. In round 4, Pirate B is going to show up. And in a 3 or 4 player game, the third pirate is going to show up. I'm playing a 2-player game, so I've just got these 2 pirates. So they're going to show up, and pirates are going to try to take your ingredients. You're trying to shuttle around grabbing stuff, and you want to deliver those things before, hopefully, the pirates come and steal it from your inventory. They can't steal it from your coffee once you've got it placed, but they could steal it from your inventory, which is a really scary thing. Defeating pirates, though, is really good for your honor. That's what this track is down here. And so players can receive honor, which are these cups. Those are victory points at the end of the game. And they also can receive ingredients, like 2 basic ingredients, a Stardust, or 2 upgraded ingredients. So moving up on this honor track is a really, really good thing. And to defeat a pirate, you simply need to be 1 in front of it or 1 behind it on this outer rim track. and you discard a whiskey, which is an advanced ingredient. It takes a little while to get a whiskey, but they don't come out just yet, right? We're just kind of scooting around right now with like freedom. We don't have to worry about those pirates in the very first round. But those are the things you get to do. You get to move, activate the color on the die, activate the number on the die, perform an upgrade on your ship, attack a pirate, or deliver coffee, which if your coffee cart is filled up with your ingredients and you go past your starbase, you can deliver coffee. That's going to be a player's turn. So you can see how you're not actually doing all of them every single turn, but there is an opportunity for you to really make some cool turns later on in the game as you nab up more and more ingredients. Once a player has used a die, they put it in the used die section. Now the next player is going to go. I'm going to lay my ship down. I'm going to put this down to say that ship's been activated. The next player is going to go. Lewis is going to look and he's going to say, I want to activate one of my 2-star ships, right? We know it's going to be one of these guys. And he's going to take a die. Now, let's say he doesn't like the choices or all the dice have been exhausted by either people using them or having more players in the game. You still use the same amount of dice. And so with the 2-player, you go back and forth and you might not have to refresh the dice as much. But this track here keeps count of how many times you refresh your dice and how far the pirates move when the pirates are activated. And so by refreshing the dice and rolling them again, players are essentially, yeah, I sure made a mess out of that. Players are kind of poking the bear. They're getting those pirates more and more agitated. And there is a possibility, 1, 2, 3, if you move it onto this space, you have a possibility of activating the pirates when it's not their turn. They essentially go after all the players have finished their turns. And so it kind of makes them go a little bit early and then they go again. And it can be really devastating to activate the pirates in the middle of the round where the players are playing. So I turned over my ship and now it's Lewis's turn. He's going to look at these and say, okay, do I really want to activate these? You know what? He has a really good opportunity here, just like I did. I think he's going to do that because he likes coffee beans and this is a really great coffee bean opportunity. He's going to fly right past that milk. Even though he could stop and nab it, he's going to fly. He's going to do 2 spaces for a move. He's going to take this brown die and he's going to say, I want to make coffee. I want to do the color harvest action. He's going to place out some coffee, 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 coffee. And now he's going to activate the number and say, I want, after harvest, you always get to collect where you are. Don't forget about that. And now he's going to activate the number and say, I want to get a dark roast coffee bean, just like I saw Kim do. So he's going to take that and put it in his dark roast coffee bean. He needs 1 regular coffee bean and 1 dark roast. So he's halfway to getting his espresso. This is amazing. And I rolled the dice just randomly. They just worked out really well. So he can't do the pirate action. He doesn't want to do the upgrade, mostly because he doesn't have a Stardust. And people only have 3 Stardust holding capacity. And he can't deliver. He's not going around his starbase. So yeah, he's pretty much good. He's good for his turn. He's going to put that die over here and lay down his ship. Yay, right? This is great. All right, I'm going to activate my last spaceship and I'm going to choose one of the dice. Well, there's only one available. It's a 5 blue. So let's see. I could scoot over here and I could activate and harvest on blue and then take 1 blue. I don't really need any blue. So maybe what I'm going to do is move this forward and I'm going to re-roll the dice. I'm going to refresh them. I choose 2. There's no pirates out here. I'm not going to poke the bear too bad. All right, a 2 die. And then I've got a 1, 3, and a 4. Let's see here. So I can choose to move. I'm going to take this blue die. So what's going to happen is I will do my color action. So instead of harvesting, I'm going to jump. And I want to jump to the nearest globe. So that means I get to go all the way to that city globe. These are ingredient globes. These are the city globes. And this one in particular is red's home base. It's its star base, much like yellow's star base is here. So I did the color action. I'm going to do my number action. And when you're here, you can take one ingredient of your choice that's a basic ingredient, or you can trade out 2 basic ingredients for one of its upgrades. So if I had 2 milks, I could trade in 2 milks for one of these other upgraded milk ingredients. Now I want to get a coffee bean. That's what I want to get, because a coffee bean, just a plain one, allows me to get that much closer to finishing my con panna. Okay, I still haven't moved. Remember that you can sail for 1 to 3 actions. I was able to use the color of the die instead of harvesting to jump instead. I can't do anything else on my turn when it comes to all those other cool actions that normally you get to do a little bit later in the game. So I think what I'm going to do next is move. And I think I want to move to this coffee bean because next time I can maybe harvest and then move and be really close to getting my coffee bean ready to go, right? My con panna and ready out there. So I'm going to put this die out there. I'm going to lay down my ship, and now it's Lewis's turn. He's going to activate this, and look at that. He's got a 3 again. He can do another, grab a coffee bean and trade for a brown. He could come here and harvest and then collect 2 milks. He might do that. He could also come here and grab a whiskey. Let's see what that happens. He's going to actually take this pink and he's going to move this ship all the way here. Now, his color action is not, well, he could harvest and he could make milk go out everywhere. Maybe he should harvest, but I think he wants to actually jump, kind of like I did. So what then he's going to do is activate his number, and he's going to say, I have a 4 and there's a 4 there. That's a whiskey. So he's going to take that water and put it down there on the whiskey. Now he's got a whiskey ready so that next round he can potentially fight the pirate that's going to come out. He's ready to go. Honor is really important. He's going to move up on that track. He's a little bit ahead of me, actually. So now he's going to use his color and he's going to jump to the nearest color of that. He could either jump to the nearest globe, which is just 1 space, or he could come here. And I think he's just going to move around the corner, lay down his ship, put that die there. And now everybody has activated their ships. There are no more actions to be had for this particular round. Here's how you clean up a round. We're going to move the marker here, and we're going to add that pirate where it says, boom, we're going to put him right there on his A spot. We are going to collect the dice, and we're going to change the turn marker so that now Lewis is going to start the turn and he's going to roll the dice. We are going to reveal this top item on the deck. This is what the pirates are going to come nab at the start of next round. We're going to move this marker down, and they're going to come after milk. Now, if we had one of these bonuses, again, we would flip it over and we would check it out. And this one, we got 2 ingredients. These were going to be 2 special ingredients. I didn't do it, but I told you we should have done it. But that's there just to remind us that make sure you do all those things. I'm going to stand up all of our ships. Ships, go. Stand up, stand up, stand up. And that's it. We're ready to go. We're going to re-roll the dice. Maybe we'll get some Stardust this turn. Maybe we won't. That's a round. It's the very first round of this game. And I think you're starting to see how these ingredients are going to start collecting more and more. You'll notice that there's the milk and the coffee from the times that Lewis and I harvested. You can have up to 3 of those ingredients, remember, in a space. And when you harvest, you get to collect everything from the space you're at. Now, if you can match this is the Stardust die. It's really, really cool if you can get the Stardust die. And that's going to be this cool gold symbol here. That means that when you go to that space and you discard the matching symbol of that advanced ingredient, you get a Stardust. It has nothing to do with the die value. It has everything to do with the pictured symbol. So this one has the little soft dollop. That's the dark roast coffee. That's the ice cube. This is the kind of fancy swirly dairy. And this one is the chocolate bar. You get a Stardust that you add to your spaceship, and you pop down a Stardust in the space where it generated. So it essentially creates two, you collect one, and the other one goes down. So there's a possibility that a player behind you in turn order can come up and harvest where you are and get the Stardust, or you can cleverly harvest next turn if nobody nabs it up. Stardust are, again, incredibly cool. They help you spice up your coffee. When you add Stardust to your coffee, they're worth 1 point for the first one. If you have 2 in a coffee card, it's worth 1 point, and then it's worth 3 points. And then if you have 3, it's 1, 3, and 5, and you get to add all of those together for a total of 9 points. The very last thing the players are going to do whenever they finish a round, before they get into that next round, is transfer all of the ingredients that they would choose to do into their coffee. So I will take a basic coffee, I'll take a milk, and I'll take my swirly dairy. I'm going to take that one. And then Lewis is going to be pretty similar. He's going to take a dark roast, and he's going to take a light roast. He needs 1 basic coffee bean and 1 water drop, which I think next round he can probably pick up pretty easy, and all I need is 1 of the regular coffee beans, and I'm sitting right there on 1. So that's going to be that final stage of moving your ingredients onto your coffee card. I think you've got a great idea of what Stardust Coffee offers. There's this really interesting movement mechanic, delivering the coffee back to your star base, gathering that third spaceship, trying to avoid those pirates when you don't want them to steal your goods, but fighting them when you have the whiskey and the opportunity to fight them. You can upgrade your ship to get really cool specialty upgrades, and you have this fascinating resource management when it comes to basic ingredients and then your different kinds of advanced ingredients. This module board can be changed. You can put these tiles out wherever you want after you've played it a time or two, and I think that that would really change up the game. These events also change. You will shuffle them up. There are more in the box. And then, of course, the pirates and what they steal changes because they have all 3 of the basic ingredients, but the way you shuffle them up and then stack them is different every single time. So this is a really dynamic, interesting game that allows players to really make a lot of choices when it comes to the actions because there are so many. When do you do your one action for each of those actions, and what order, but then also to what degree? And so you're trying to figure out, where can I go? What can I activate? What die has been rolled? And how can I really change up my strategy? Thanks for joining my turn or two of Stardust Coffee. I'll see you next time. Hey!